Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Mike Birbiglia tweets, Kanye West isn't even in my top 100 hip-hop artists who should be president. The late night shows continue to talk about Biden-Harris. Trevor Noah said, I mean, of all people, Donald Trump should totally understand how you can be with a woman who publicly humiliated you. He also shouldn't be surprised that past enemies can become your friends. I mean, look who he's been working with. Ted Cruz, who called him a pathological liar and a narcissist. Lindsey Graham, who said he was a bigot and a nut job, who was destroying the Republican Party. Marco Rubio, who called him a con artist and said he had a small bleep. And, of course, Jared Kushner, who selfishly married the love of Trump's life. That's savage. Seth Meyers said President Trump said in an interview that some men may feel insulted by Joe Biden's decision to choose a woman as his running mate, and added that Biden had, quote, roped himself into a certain group of people. Lucky for Biden, that group of people is 51% of the population. Stephen Colbert said maybe one reason Trump is struggling to go after Kamala Harris is that his heart's not in it because, and this is true, when she was running for attorney general in California, Trump donated to Harris's campaigns twice. Colbert adds, wow, that's embarrassing for Kamala Harris. Two more from Colbert, and Donald's not the only Trump who supported Harris in the past because Ivanka Trump also donated $2,000 to Harris in 2014, which is surprising. Usually when Ivanka gives women money, it's 3 cents a handbag. And Colbert, in addition to potentially attracting women and minority voters, Harris clicks with some big money donors too. Apparently Wall Street is happy, Silicon Valley's happy, Hollywood is fired up. Finally, a candidate who speaks to the heartland. All right, Ricky Gervais spoke to Metro. That's one of those like free papers you get in the UK. The Brits are like, yeah, we fucking no. All right, relax, man. Relax. We're in New York. It's a free newspaper. It's Metro. I'm having an argument with an imaginary British citizen. Ricky Gervais talked to Metro, and he said everyone's got a different definition of cancel culture. If it's choosing not to watch a comedian because you don't like them, that's everyone's right. But when people are trying to get someone fired because they don't like their opinion about something that's nothing to do with their job, that's what I call cancel culture, and that's not cool. You turning off your own TV isn't censorship. You trying to get the other people to turn off their TV because you don't like something they're watching, that's different. Everyone's allowed to call you an a-hole. Everyone's allowed to stop watching your stuff. Everyone's allowed to burn your DVDs, but you shouldn't have to go to court for saying a joke that someone didn't like. And that's what we get dangerously close to. And if you don't agree with someone's right to say something you don't agree with freedom of speech. Ricky adds, I did a tweet a month ago about freedom of speech, quoting Winston Churchill. Someone came back with, he was a white supremacist? And I wrote back, not in that tweet, he isn't. It's like if someone did something once that's wrong, everything they did was wrong. You're allowed to have things in common with bad people as long as it's not the bad things. I'm a vegetarian and I love dogs, like Hitler. But the only thing I have in common with Hitler are the good bits. Metro tells us Gervais has been spending lockdown at his home in Hampstead, North London. He says, I've got a garden. I go for a walk every day. The weather's been good, but don't remind him of Gal Gadot's crass video featuring 25 of her famous mates murdering John Lennon's classic, I Want the World to Go Back to Normal. I liked it the way it was, but there are people in much worse positions than me. That's why I didn't like it when I saw celebrities complaining they weren't on telly tonight. They're just walking around their grounds and having a swim in their pool. I didn't want to be on that side of history. I'm going to end this by singing you Imagine. You're not going to hear me complaining when there are nurses doing 14-hour shifts. He's been rewriting his show Supernature, which should be touring now, but he's working in COVID. He said, it's impossible not to mention it. It will be the elephant in the room, but I always try and find a bigger subject and find an angle. That's probably one of the reasons that I go for the dark side. It's why I deal with famine, cancer, the Holocaust, AIDS, because people always get them. That sounds weird to pick out those things for comedy, but you do want people to know what you're talking about in 10 years' time. All right, from Engadget, your home for daily comedy news. Yeah, you hear me pause there. I'm struggling with this one. I know I'm supposed to be on board with this because they, whoever they is, were like, this is the greatest thing ever. I'll just read you the story. Netflix has snagged Sarah Cooper. You know Sarah. She is the nice lady who does TikTok videos mocking President Trump. Netflix will start streaming Sarah Cooper Everything's Fine this fall. Netflix says the special will feature an array of guests taking part in short interviews and sketches led by Cooper. It will touch on topics like race, gender, class, and other light subjects. Helping Cooper bring the special to life is a crew that includes Natasha Lyonne and Maya Rudolph. Rudolph is one of the executive producers on the special. And if you missed it, Sarah Cooper hosted Jimmy Kimmel's show the other night. This from the Hollywood Reporter. Sarah said, "If you don't know who I am, that's okay. I don't know who you are either, so we're even." She did a 7-minute monologue. She balanced her, quote, trademark political humor, unquote, that's me adding the quotes, with comedic anecdotes about her life beyond the homemade videos that have made her an internet sensation. She said, "Part of the reason I was so excited to guest host tonight is because I wanted to show everyone that I'm more than my Trump impressions." She touched on a range of presidential topics early on in her opening appearance, including the announcement of Kamala Harris as Joe Biden's running mate, voter suppression, and what it would be like to have a president who only goes crazy once a month. She said, "I started this year doing a late night set in a pizza place in Jersey City. Now here I am hosting a late night show in a vacant house. Actually, the number of people in the audience is exactly the same. I was born in Jamaica. My whole family's Jamaican, and they always give me a hard time for being the least Jamaican member of the family, but I think it's their fault for naming me Sarah. Sarah Cooper sounds like a character on the OC who was written out in season 2, and it's like she moved into my body and gentrified my whole personality." So there's Sarah Cooper when she's not doing Trump impressions, and you can see her special on Netflix coming up later this year. From ABC News, the annual Lucille Ball Comedy Festival is going virtual with help from Tiffany Haddish, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Margaret Cho, Weird Al Yankovic, and more than 24 others working for the realm of humor. The festival, presented by the National Comedy Center in Jamestown, will stream conversations with the artists over 3 weekends, starting tonight and running through August 30th. One show that they have spotlighted Weird Al as the subject, and Hamilton creator Lin-Manuel Miranda and Jimmy Fallon of The Tonight Show are the hosts on a conversation streaming on August 29th. Other pairings include Margaret Cho with Judy Gold, Tiffany Haddish with Flame Monroe, and political satirist Mark Russell with Louis Black. The festival will also pay tribute to Carl Reiner, who passed away earlier this year. The live streams will be free on the center's new platform, comedycenter.org/festival, comedycenter.org/festival. There's also a Facebook page. Pretty cool. The trailer for Beth Stelling's new special is out. This from the Interrobang, and they tell us in the trailer, Stelling talks about how hard it is to get laid with another man's name on your back. Not hard, by the way. Being the breadwinner in a relationship, and when guys say, quote, "she trapped me with a baby," and how happy endings are, quote, "a man's game." The special, produced by Team Coco, will be on HBO Max if you happen to have that on August 20th. Also from the Interrobang, we're getting a box set from Jonathan Winters via the guys at Comedy Dynamics. Some of the material in the set includes the 1958 novelty record "Nee Nee Na 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 Nu Nu," also a one-of-a-kind demo recorded for Verve with 2 never-before-released routines, his complete performance from The Arthur Godfrey Show on CBS Radio 1960, his first record for Verve, The Wonderful World of Jonathan Winters, and an unedited performance from the Bob Crane Radio Show in L.A. If you like Jonathan Winters, this box set is for you. That is your comedy news for today. Subscribe on Apple or Google, follow on Spotify, and I will see you tomorrow.